Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Kitaab Club. Today, I will be in conversation with Anahita Karthik, the author of our February book, Better Catch Up, Krishna Kumar. To give you guys a little introduction about Anahita, she is a Desi queer and multilingual writer of stories heavily inspired by Indian mythology, history, and culture. She has a master in studies in creative writing from the University of Cambridge and a tech degree she'll probably never use in her life. While she writes across genres, her stories usually include road trips, a slow burn romance, and nods to Indian cinema, both explicit and thematic. Better Catch Up Krishna Kumar, a Junior Library Guild Gold Standard pick, is her debut novel, but her first feature was in the anthology My Big Fat Desi Wedding. While not reading or writing, she designs social media graphics, conducts publishing workshops, and mentors querying authors via SmoochBit. She can be found posting excessively across platforms at Anna_scribe, which I'll link in the description before, so you should follow her to find out more about her upcoming books. Welcome, Anahita. Welcome to Kitaab Club. I am so excited to talk about this book and about writing and publishing and just like your entire journey with books.
Me as well, so just in case.
Yay, we're matching.
Yeah.
Perfect. To start us off quickly, I want to know what your writing journey has been like. I'm curious how you got into books, into writing, and wanting to publish your own stories.
Oh, that's such a great question to start off with. So I started writing pretty young because I started reading very young. Like I was, I think, 6 or 7 when I started reading. And I started with Enid Blyton books, Mallory Towers, Faraway Tree, the classics.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Yeah.
And I think reading those books gave me the sense of feeling that I wanted to create a world that would make people feel the way that Enid Blyton's books had made me feel, which is how I sort of started writing my own stuff. And obviously, as every writer does, we start with fan fiction. So my first full length novel, I think I was like 8 or 9, and it was like 80 pages of like this notebook, the ones that we have in school.
Yeah.
Uh, it was 80 pages of that book, and it was like a Mallory Towers fan fiction, following like Daryl Rivers' daughter going to Mallory Towers. So that was it. And then I like sort of started writing more original stories. And the thing is, initially, like my characters used to all be white. And because I mean, back then, I mean, back in like what, 2009, 2010, we still hadn't seen the kind of representation that we're seeing now, because now is when publishing is finally pushing for, marginalized stories, queer stories. So it just never occurred to me that I could write a book with brown characters. And also I never thought that if I wrote a book with brown characters, I would, sort of reach like the readership that I wanted to reach. And I know this sounds odd coming from like a 10-year-old like kid's mind, but
It
I
doesn't.
yeah, I know.
It doesn't.
I
Yeah.
I've I've always wanted to be like a world famous author. For me, it's just
Hmm.
since the moment I started writing, I was like, I want to be a world famous author. So I was
Yeah.
just like, if I write brown characters, I'm not going to get there. So I should write white characters instead. But then, eventually, like my mom told me that I think you should start writing characters like with names like ours, like base them in India. And I was like, you know what? She's right. I could try it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did self-publish 2 novels when I was like 15 and 17. I was in school, but it didn't really go anywhere. And I didn't have a great experience with self-publishing because I did it so young.
Hmm.
So I was like, I immediately started looking up ways to get traditionally published. So I would say that I started like looking up how to get traditionally published when I was like, I think 18. So I started pretty young,
Hmm.
and I wrote like 5 books before I got an agent and then eventually a book deal. So yeah.
Hmm. Well, I am very glad that you continued with it and continued writing because I absolutely love this book.
I'm
I
glad.
literally, yeah, I feel like it feels like it's such a, like you said, like it feels like it's such a young age to be thinking those things, but like because we haven't seen the books even we're reading at that age, we didn't have that representation. We didn't know how to
None of
describe our
yeah,
skin or in an actual good way because we had never seen
exactly.
that in books. So like
Exactly.
obviously we're going to think that this is not something that there's a market for. But anyways, going back to this book, I am curious since you said, so was this the book that you got an agent with
No, no, no,
then?
this was not the
No,
book. In
it
fact,
was.
that book is still on submission. So
Okay.
even when you get an agent, you still might not sell a book. So it's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's this is the book that I wrote after that. So yeah,
Okay. Okay.
sixth
I'm
book. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious then about how this came to you. Like, what was the first initial inspiration spark
Mhm.
that led to these characters in this book for you?
Yeah. So the thing is, I kind of wrote this book as it was just like one of those things where I was like, oh my God, my fantasy isn't selling, my sci-fi isn't selling, my thriller isn't selling, all of that. So I was like, you
Mhm.
know what? I'm gonna write the most tropey rom-com ever. Hope that sells. So it was literally just
Mhm.
like a vengeance book in a way. I was just like, I'm gonna write the tropiest book. Like, okay,
Mhm.
road trips are trending. Let's write that. Grumpy Sunshine. Eventually, it did become like more like brooding sunshine because I
Mhm.
feel like Rudra just ended up being way too nice for me to like write him as a grumpy character. So it did become that, and I was like, okay, summer rom-coms, and Never Have I Ever meets Summer I Turned Pretty, all of that. So it
Mhm.
was just it was all tropes to me because I really wanted to sell a book. So when I
Mhm.
first wrote the book, it was like I was like hate writing it because I wanted to get a book deal so quick. And it did happen, like it happened really quick. Like I think I got a book deal in like 2 months. So it was quite nice.
Mhm.
Um, but then also it's like I fell in love with the book. Like initially, I was just like trying to write it to get my foot in through the door, but then I eventually just deeply fell in love with these characters, with this world, and this is my love letter to India in a way. Like all these places that I've explored, Mumbai, Pune, Goa, I've
Mhm.
lived in all of these places, so I
Mhm.
know these places very like very deeply, very dearly. So it was
Mhm.
just, yeah, it eventually like I grew to love this project. It was like one of those things where you get into like this arranged marriage situation, but then you fall in love with your partner, you're like it was like that.
That needs to be another book. I feel like you need to
Oh
write
my
that other book.
God. So
I
yeah.
love that. That is very interesting. I feel like I completely understand what you mean, though also with like that this started out as tropes and like I loved seeing those tropes like in the book, like even like
Yeah.
coming across them, like I kept marking them and like obviously the titles of each chapter, those itself are just so fun and also kind of tropey because like they're so like known in this generation. At
Yeah,
least
like
like
in
some of
age,
them.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like coming across those was really fun, but also I completely understand you falling in love with it because I feel like
Yeah.
even though it is tropey and like all a
Mm,
mashup of a lot of the things that you were talking
mm.
about to try and market this book in a way that it would sell, it still is so Bollywood and so Indian and like so just like proudly desi. I feel like that like I don't know if anyone can read this and not like it. At least to
Oh my
me,
gosh.
like it just
Uh,
it's just so like I mean for me at least, I reading this I wasn't thinking about like all the like teenage like American shows. Like I wasn't thinking
yeah.
about Summer Returned Pretty, all of that. I'm thinking about Jab We Met. I
Yes.
like which is one of the kind of like road
Yeah.
trip like Bollywood like ultimate movies and stuff. So yeah, and also obviously just the characters and like the queer representation, the intersectionality in this. Like we have to talk about that as well. Like
Yeah.
what was like your process with like writing these queer identities in this, but also like having like the intersectionality. One, Preeti is a woman, cis woman, and then she's a lesbian, and then Rudra is a guy and he's bisexual, and then even like Krishna is like her like Indian American, like, and
Yeah.
then being queer. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
how did you come? Like, what was your process with that? Like, coming with that?
I just think it was so natural to me because I remember seeing a lot of discourse, like when, for example, when Adiba Jaigirdar, I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
pronouncing her name right, but Adiba
Mhm.
Jaigirdar, her book came out, and like it had like this fat brown Bangladeshi queer character, and there were a lot of people being like, why is she forcing in so many identities? And I was like, forcing in so many people live with those identities on a daily basis. Like I'm brown, and in fact, I'm not Indian American. I was born
Mhm.
and brought up in India.
Yeah.
I wrote an Indian American character more to like, sort of appeal to the American audience and American traditional publishing. But like, I'm brown, I'm queer, and I'm Tamil as well. So I mean, I have so many identities. It's not forced. So for
Yeah.
me, especially like, like living in a place like Mumbai right now, it is such a melting pot of cultures from all over India. You
Yeah.
see like Gujaratis who, start speaking Marathi and like eat only South Indian food. And then you see like, queer Punjabis and all of that. So I'm just like, it just felt very natural to me to have all these characters be three-dimensional in their character as well as the identities that they represent, in a way. So for example, Krishna being bi, being, like having multi cultural influence, like she's part Marathi, part like from UP. There's a lot of people like whose parents get married from like
Yeah.
different states and they have these different cultures. And then
Mhm.
Rudra, for example, like him being dyslexic, because
Yeah.
I was just like, that's something that, you like Indian school, like schooling systems and just Indian like society doesn't talk about, having those kind of like, like reading issues or whatever. And I wanted to make it seem as natural
Mhm.
in the prose as possible. It's not something that makes him stand out. It's just a part of him. So
Yeah.
it just felt natural to me. But I think because we exist in this online world and we exist in this industry, which is so hell bent on reducing us to our identities, it might seem like there's so much, but then it's just the way people are. Like people are so many things at once. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Also, like, it just it baffles me that like people are real three-dimensional, and then as soon as they get on page, people
Yeah.
expect them to be two-dimensional, and they're
Yeah,
not. We're
exactly.
still trying to get people to be as representative of who people are in this real world, and it's taken such a long time for us to even see representations of like Indian people in a good
Mm-hmm.
light, that like
Mm-hmm.
even seeing intersectionalities, like some people I guess aren't ready for that, but do
Yeah,
we
it's
have to
like
wait for them to get ready for this? Like
like we're
it's
all humans and we exist,
yeah.
and like it's insane that we have to be like we have to introduce our identities one after the other to be like palatable in a way, which is insane because we are all three of them at the same time.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I absolutely loved the queer representation in this, the
Oh yeah.
intersectionality. Even like you said, her Krishna's like cultural identity, and then also her
Mhm.
being Indian American,
Yeah,
and like the
yeah,
diasporic identity of hers,
yeah,
not knowing if she's like trying to figure that out, but also other people's reaction to that. We see that through, Preeti and Rudra and stuff,
yeah,
and it's just done really well, I feel like.
yeah.
And that was like, I'm also not like, I've studied in the US, I'm in the US
Okay.
right now, but I've never like like I never moved here for like a long period of time, I would
Mhm.
say. Like I think a lot of the things I'm seeing in her identity is like
Mhm.
so what I've heard from my Indian American friends
Mhm.
here
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
think, yeah, you did a very authentic, good job with that.
I'm
So
really glad. I
yeah.
feel like I also studied abroad. Like I did my master's in the UK,
Yeah.
and I feel like you also will probably relate to this, where in a way that once we move abroad and say we start liking our life better abroad and we like have better opportunities there, we are guilt tripped into feeling that we don't love our country enough for seeking those opportunities, which
Hmm.
is so wild to me because home is always going to be a place you can go back to. You don't have to live there all the time for it to
Hmm.
be yours. And
Yeah.
I drew that, like I drew from that feeling that I got from going to the UK and like seeing this whole new world in a way. And I love India, but then I also love the UK. So I did experience that as well. So I did, like, it
Yeah.
did help to feel those feelings, to be able to
Hmm.
like represent that on paper in a way. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. Okay, to move back to like the writing aspect, what is your writing process like on a usual basis? Because I know you're working a day job, right? And so
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I'm guessing your writing is mostly at nighttime, like do you have like a process?
yeah.
Do you have like a beverage you need every time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just like in fact, like I started my job recently. Before that, I was
Mhm.
doing my master's, and before that, I was doing my undergrad. So I
Yeah.
was like a college student who was sort of like bunking classes and not doing my assignments on time to write. So I feel like even though I was panicking more in general at that time, and I'm
Mhm.
more sorted now, I had more time to write in a way. But now with a full time 9 to 5, it's been wild. And there are times when I do like try to get my tasks done early at work
Yeah.
and then use that office space and that environment in a way to get into writing. Because when I
Mhm.
go back home, I want to sleep and I want to
Yeah.
watch like Bridgerton, or I just want to do that sort of thing, right? I don't want to like work.
Mhm.
So sometimes I just begin in office, like I get
Mhm.
done my work really quick, and
Yeah.
then I have my matcha with me,
Mhm.
and I just start an office. And whenever someone comes in, I switch the tabs and I pretend I'm working again. And then once I go back, I have a very, very cozy space for me. Like the cozy space is the most important. So I have
Mhm.
this bean bag and this beautiful view because I live on the 20th floor.
Mhm.
And like I put some music because I need music like that sort of captures the vibes of the book that I'm writing.
Mhm.
Uh, and I order myself some coffee and I just sit and write. So that's my process. And it's very like fancy. Like I'm not an outliner. I've had to outline for the books that I've been writing recently, because
Mhm.
once you are published, you have to make like write proposals. So you need to
Yeah.
have the full ready.
Mhm.
But before I used to like pretty much pants the entire thing. So yeah.
That's very interesting. What you said about trying to write, trying to finish your work early to write
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, this is because I'm taking writing workshops right now, and in
Mhm.
my last class, we were talking about like tips to write better and stuff, and someone said the same thing, like that writing on stolen time is like so productive and so helpful because it's
Yeah.
like you don't have time to like worry that it's gonna be good or it's not gonna be good. You just have those like
Exactly.
very small time. You don't know how soon it's gonna end, and so you just write. And yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
completely
yeah.
get that. I need to try that sometime.
No, honestly, like, and I'm going to use a lot of these like romance trope references, but
Hmm.
it's like a forbidden romance in a way. Like, you're not supposed to be doing that. So
Yeah.
it feels more exciting in a way. Because
Hmm.
when I was doing my part-time masters, I had a lot of time because I was doing a part-time masters, I had a part-time job. So I had
Hmm.
like a lot of time in a day to write. But I don't think I was writing as much then as I'm writing now. It's when I
Hmm.
cannot write and I don't have the time to write is when I write the most. So
Yeah.
it's odd how that works, honestly.
I completely get you. I'm the same way. I'm like, because I'm in a master's program for
Mhm.
writing right now, and it's
Yeah.
like I was writing way more before I started this. Now it's like every time like the workshop, like it comes time for me to submit something, I'm writing it the weekend before, like crunching, because
Same.
it's like unless I feel that deadline, like the panic, it's not happening for some
I
reason.
swear. Like I did my screenwriting major
Hmm.
and we would have to submit like 20 pages of a script like before every workshop, and I would do them 2 days before I had to send in the script. And that it would still be great because I know that it doesn't matter when I'm writing or how long I'm taking to write. It's gonna be, I have
Yeah.
like a certain level of faith that I just have to sit and write and I'll make sure it's good?
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah.
I didn't know you did a screenwriting
Oh
major.
yeah. Yeah.
How was that? Because I did a screenwriting minor in undergrad.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
and now I'm doing a master's as well in writing.
Oh
So,
wow. So is your
yeah.
master's also in screenwriting?
No, my master's is in creative writing.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yes.
So like
Yeah.
pros. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like my undergrad degree is in engineering. Like I was an
Okay.
engineer first, and I
Hmm.
did work for a couple months, but then it was just not for me. And
Yeah.
then I applied for my master's. And the
Hmm.
thing is, when I applied for my master's, I had already gotten my book deal.
Hmm.
So for me, the master's was a way to sort of not just like fulfill my dream of going to like a big uni, because I've
Yeah.
always wanted to study abroad like all my life. We just couldn't afford it.
Hmm.
So I was just like, it was my dream, and I was like, I want to go to like an Ivy League or like a Russell Group university. So that was one thing. And the second is when I applied, since I'd already gotten my book deal, I was like, I am going to try to do something new. Like I'm not going to do what I already know how to do because I know how to write a book. And I want to like probably branch out. So if the writing career thing doesn't work out in like the bookish industry, because even when you get a book deal, you have no guarantee of getting the next book deal, you know? So I was like, I have to try something different. And I've always been told like I write really like fast-paced scenes in a way. So I was like, maybe I could try screenwriting, you know? And I fell in love with it. And that's my day job, by the way. Like I'm a screenwriter.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. Wait, so are you, I don't know if this is something you can share, but like you're writing for like
For
features?
Bollywood. For
Bollywood?
Bollywood. Bollywood and
That's
brands. So
amazing.
yeah. I write short form fiction and I write for
Hmm.
Bollywood and brands. So yeah.
Wow. Oh my God. So,
Yeah.
and so you started recently, so I'm guessing there's nothing been yet made into a film, or is it in
There
process?
there have been some like micro dramas on Instagram and like short films and stuff because
Oh
I
my God.
mainly write short form content. So
Yeah.
there's a bunch of stuff, but it's already out. I don't share them because that's my
Why?
day job.
But that's still
Yeah.
writing. That's still your writing.
I know that's true. You know what? I would be happy to share some links with you. So maybe if you want to
Yes.
link them, you can. So yeah, you can
Yes.
see
Yes, please. Oh my
that.
God.
Yeah.
Inside scoop. So exciting. Oh my God. And it's so great then because you can write as a full-time job because even it's like in different ways, but like you're writing for a
Exactly.
living, which
Yeah,
is
yeah. And
amazing.
I never thought that if I were doing a full-time job in writing, I was like, am I gonna be able to write? Like, it's like
Yeah.
I'm and this month, I'm not kidding you, I probably have written close to like 50,000 words this month, like my day job and my like book stuff
Yeah.
combined. I
Mm-hmm.
have been peak productivity.
I
So yeah,
love that. Oh my God.
yeah,
I
yeah.
will come back to that about your
Yes.
next work at the end because
Oh.
I don't want to get too excited. I'm going to forget everything else otherwise. Oh my God. Okay. To go back also to your writing process, you mentioned that you like to listen to music that,
Yes.
is the vibe of the books and stuff. So what were
Mhm.
some songs you were listening to while writing this?
Ah.
And also, if you had like a song that you would use to describe the three of them, like what would
Oh,
their be,
wow.
what their songs be?
Oh, I love that. Okay,
Mhm.
so I only listen to Bollywood songs, honestly, when I'm writing a book that's set
Same.
in India. It's just I mean, this book, this is not like a Taylor Swift song, okay? This is I'm sorry, but it's not. It's just it's very like Jabbi Met songs, like
Mhm.
Yesh Khai, and then um what's oh my God, how am I forgetting the name? Na hai ye. Oh my
Oh my
God, what the
God, yeah. Oh my God.
but anyway, the whole Jabbi Met, can't remember the name of the song, but I can
Mhm.
sing the whole song. But yeah, so Yesh Khai and then that song, and then
Mhm.
Aao Milo Chalo from the same movie.
Yes.
But basically the Jabbi Met playlist. Then I was listening to like songs from Gehraiyan because the
Okay.
songs are so good in that movie.
Hmm.
There's like Dubbe, and then there's um there was another one. No, and then there was a movie called Kho Gaye Hum Kahan with Ananya Pandey that came out like a few
Yeah.
years ago,
Hmm.
and that had like songs like what was that song? Hone Do Jo Hota Hai. That is such a good
Mm.
song, and I feel like that's like the title track of my book, that Hone
Hmm.
Do Jo Hota Hai, because it
Yeah.
captures like the drama that and the romance and this like the sense of like coming of age sort of feeling like
Hmm. Yeah.
perfectly. So I'd say
Hmm.
that's the song that describes them all.
Hmm.
Uh, for Preeti, it would be Pretty Girl Mantra because it's like her handle, Instagram handle as well.
Yeah.
Uh, it would be that song.
Hmm.
Then for Krishna, I would be Yesh Khai. It's
Hmm.
a very like, Jab we met coded sort of thing. And then
Hmm.
for Rudra, my boyfriend is a musician. So
Hmm.
he has this song called You Caught Me Looking at You Too Many Times. And that's the song that would be Rudra's title track.
Oh my God. I
So
love
yeah,
that. I love
yeah.
that. Wow. Yeah, I need to go and listen to all of these songs. I feel like I should have been listening to them while rereading this, but maybe another time because I probably will reread this again very soon.
Oh, I
So,
love that.
very excited.
I have like a 65, 70 song playlist on my website. So it's like really long. It's got
Okay.
like Ek Main Aur Ek Tu, and then it's got, the song from Jaane Tu Ya Jaane Na. All of those very
Oh
road
yeah.
trip classic songs, and obviously
Hmm.
ZNMD songs. Like ZNMD
Of
songs
course.
have to make it in. So
Of
yeah,
course. The other classic road trip movie.
110%. Yeah.
Since you said you're a pantser, and then this book you pantsed, I'm guessing, right? Because this was before the book
Yeah, yeah.
came. Yeah,
I
pretty
had to
much.
write like an outline, but then it was not
Okay.
like detailed, like
Okay.
as detailed as the ones I'm writing right now. But yeah, I
Hmm.
had to write like a 2 page sort of outline. Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of pantsing, because that's very interesting to me. I'm someone who like cannot do that at all.
Oh, okay.
For me, it's like it's not even like I outline. It's like in my head, I will play 100 different scenarios of how it's gonna go until I
Mm.
get it right in my head, and only then I start writing it.
Oh
It
my,
doesn't work otherwise for me. And
holy.
so I'm curious about what was it like you wrote it all chronologically, or was it like you moved around? And if in either case, like what were some of your favorite scenes to write in this?
Oh, I love that.
Mhm.
So, Better Catch Up Krishna Kumar, even though I wrote like a 2 page outline, it was just very like sparse, like it was not
Yeah.
very detailed.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I pantsed basically the story in a way. Like I just knew like the ending and stuff, but I
Yeah.
didn't know anything else.
Yeah.
So I pantsed the book and it was so much fun. I wrote it chronologically because I write all my books chronologically. I'm the kind of like I'm the weird pantser who if what I've written so far is
Mhm.
not good, I'm not going to go ahead. So, like, I go through some really bad writer's blocks, but I'm like, I don't write for months because
Mm.
there's no way I'm going ahead in the story if what I've written before is not good enough, you know? So, I
Mhm.
usually edit as I write. Like, I'll go back and read the chapters before going to sleep and like edit them
Mhm.
on my phone and stuff.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I discovered the story pretty much as I was writing it. And I have to say, like, the entire like trekking montage was my favorite thing to write. Like
Mhm.
I had so much fun with that. I wrote that, I think I wrote the entire thing from like the time that they board the bus to
Mhm.
when they get done with trekking
Mhm.
in a week. It just took me a week. So that was so much fun because
Yeah.
I love trekking as well. And I've been to
Mhm.
some of these sort of like, trekking areas because they're
Mhm.
quite close to where I like quite close to Mumbai.
Mhm.
So it's just yeah, it was so much fun.
Mhm.
And I love writing like the the push and pull
Ah,
like food
yes.
chemistry scenes. I love writing those because I'm building myself up to like writing that kiss scene, so I'm
Mhm.
giving myself a slow burn as I'm
Yeah.
writing. So yeah,
I
it's
love that. That sounds very good. I'm not someone I jump around a lot when I'm writing as well,
I know how
because
you do
yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's like I need to know the starting, and I need to know the like end of the scene, and then I'll figure out how to get them from there to there. I don't figure it out before. So
I
that's why
love
I need to like try a bunch of
that.
things in my head and see which one works before I write that middle. But that sounds so interesting. Also, I loved the trekking scene. It was
I'm
so
so
fun. Also, the push and pull, like I am obsessed with the banter in this also because a lot of the banter between Rudra and Krishna is so queer. Like
yeah,
like
it
the
is. It
scene
really
about
is.
like right before the food like competition that they have, like I was gobsmacked. I'm not even kidding. Like I was like, did he just make that joke right now? Like it was so funny. I was laughing out loud reading those scenes. So I I think it works, like giving yourself the slow burn while writing it so that the
It
slow burn is felt by all the readers.
Oh,
Completely,
110%. Yeah,
completely
110%.
get that. Yeah.
Like I always write a bunch of almost kiss scenes in a book because every time I get to the kiss scene or what I think is going to be the kiss scene, I'm like, what if I didn't make them kiss right now? And then I push it to the next one and then the next one.
Uh-huh.
So they have so many almost scenes, which
Yeah.
is why you can feel the slow burn. Like I think they kiss like around 80-82% in the book. So I really pushed it a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. No, there's even that one chapter where it like ends with like he's like almost and then almost kiss.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, what do you mean? Like we're nearing the end. Come on.
I love writing that
No, but
because I
I
thought,
enjoy
yeah,
that frustration, so I completely get
I'm so
it.
glad. Yeah, that's what you need, you know?
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, so on the other hand, then, since those were your favorite parts, what were some things that were like difficult to write, and how did you? Because you have like month-long writer's block, which I can completely relate to as well.
Oh, for
But
sure.
yeah, so how did you come across those scenes, and how did you like tackle them? Those hard to write scenes. Yeah.
Honestly, for me, like the beginning of the book is the toughest to write. Like I just because for me, when I envision the book, because I'm such a hardcore pantser, for me it's all mood and vibes. So I go on Pinterest, like save all the pictures I love and everything. So when I like visualize these characters in my head, I am longing to get to certain scenes, but
Mm.
I know I can't unless I write the beginning. So for me, I think like until the point where they go, like Preeti and Krishna go to Rudra's place to
Mm.
like ask him if he'd be like down to drive them.
Yeah.
Until I was like, "Ugh, I don't want to write all of this. I just want them, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, why can't they just fall in love already? It takes so long to make characters fall in love, you know? So it's
Yeah.
just, yeah, for me, it's always the first, I think, 50 or 70 pages. It's the toughest to write.
Mhm.
But like I do like I do manage to push through at some point. Like
Mhm.
first chapters are not that bad. First chapters are like you discovering the book in a way, so it's
Mhm.
fun. But then the
Mhm.
second, third, fourth, fifth, those are like just tedious. So yeah, those
Yeah.
were rough. And
Yeah.
then there's always the middle of the book slump in a way.
Mhm.
But I don't think it was the middle of the book for me because the middle of the book was fun. Like it was them on the bus going to the trek and stuff. But
Yeah.
before that, I think when they were like figuring out their plans and like
Mhm.
meeting up the cousins and everything, it's just those parts were like a little difficult, but then
Mhm.
yeah, eventually it did work out. So
Yeah. That's very interesting. I'm because I also struggle with beginnings, but and like
Mm,
it's like I want to get to the good parts already, and I want to write that.
exactly.
But I don't have your self-control. I will just go open a different document, and I'll just write that first. And I'm like, oh, this is so fun. Why do I have to go back to that? Why do you have to set it up? Like,
Yeah. No,
yeah,
no, because I know I'm gonna behave like that. Like if I
yeah,
write that scene, I know I'm not gonna write the rest of the book. So
yeah.
like I told you, I give myself that slow burn and that
Mhm.
tension. Like I
Yeah.
make myself wait to write that scene.
Hmm.
So I finish writing what needs to lead up to it, you know?
Yeah.
So you feel it. Like you're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's taking so long. But yeah.
Definitely. I feel like I need to try that. I feel like that's gonna help me a lot with
It
writing.
does. It does. It really does help, honestly. Trust me.
Oh
So when
my
you do
God.
write that scene, like the kiss scene, finally,
Hmm.
you're just like, you feel the sense of relief. You're like, "Oh, I finally got here, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Going back to what you were saying about like how this started as like, wanting to write tropes and like wanting to, it was
Mhm.
sort of a revenge book kind of. What was it for you then? Was it like the plot of like doing a road trip book or like these kind of like tropes book
Mhm.
first and then the characters came? And like how did you yeah, like how did the characters come for you besides like their identities and stuff? Like even
Mhm.
besides that, they have such distinct voices to them.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
Yeah. So I'm curious about that.
The book that got me agented is actually like a magical road trip book. So I am
Oh,
so bummed it hasn't sold
soon,
because it's
soon, soon,
just
soon.
no, it's been like what 4 years on submission. So I
Mm.
don't think it's selling, but you know what? It's okay. It might come back later, like
Mm.
one day.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like this sapphic, magical, like cooking road trip sort of book.
Oh.
So for me, road trips are like this motif that sort of make it into everything I write. Like even if it's not a road trip book, I'll
Yeah.
find a way to put the characters in a car, like at some point,
Mhm.
because I have spent like all my life like moving from one place to another because my dad was a transferable job. So
Okay.
I've like changed 8 schools and I've like lived in 8 different cities, and like I when I'm in a place for too long, I get very antsy. So I need to like keep like making like weekend treks and trips and all of that. So for
Yeah.
me, being on the road, on the move is just it's my thing. So road trips come very naturally to me
Mhm.
as like sort of like a plot point. And I was like, it's trending, and you can never write too many road trip books. So I might as well make a rom-com out of it, you know? So that
Yeah.
was there. And the whole Mumbai to Goa thing came very naturally because it's like it's there in Dil Chahta Hai. And whenever anyone thinks of like a Bollywood road trip, they know it's going to be from Mumbai to Goa, you know? So it's given. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay. The characters as well, like I think Krishna just like came to me like she's in a way like a younger version of me. I mean, I'm not like completely like her, but like the part of me that never really dated, that never really experienced anything in high school because we were always told that we have to study and this is what you have to do and all of that, and just feeling left out, feeling like I'm missing out on something in a way. I wanted to capture that in a character, and I think that's like an experience that every brown girl in a way goes through.
Mhm.
So like it came to me like she came to me, and her need to like get that first kiss before she goes to college was
Mhm.
just it seems like a small thing for like people, but it's not for her. It's a big thing for her.
Yeah.
And it eventually started off as like a grumpy sunshine sort of thing.
Mhm.
But I think as I was writing Rudra, it just he I didn't want him to be like the typical grump who like judges her for being like this American kid and all of that. I wanted him to be more layered in a way. So he ended up becoming like a much more complex like character as I was writing it. But Preeti is the character that I fully realized from day one. Like I
Mhm.
knew exactly how I wanted her to be from day one. I was
Mhm.
still figuring out Krishna and Rudra, and they've changed through drafts for me, but
Mhm.
Preeti has remained the same.
Yeah.
she's been the same throughout. So yeah, it's just I was like, she has to be a goth. She has to be the one that's like always like coming in between them, but she's also the one who anchors them both in a way. And yeah, that's how it came to be.
Yeah. They all, I mean, even if there was like Preeti was someone who like stayed the same throughout, and then Rudra and
Hmm.
Krishna changed a bunch, I feel like they've all been such like 3D. Like I can like picture, I could clearly visualize them like the entire time I was reading. As soon as like Preeti came, like the first like few dialogues, even, like I was like, I know exactly who she is. Like I
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, very complex, very 3D, realistic characters, I think. So,
Ah, I'm so
yeah.
glad. And it's
Hmm.
just Krishna and Rudra, in fact, funnily enough, they both have been inspired by Mia and Michael from the Princess Diary series. And now I have a blurb
I
from them.
know! Oh my God. That's crazy.
I know
I
because
love that.
The Princess Diaries was like one of the first teen books I ever read in my life. So
Hmm.
it's Mia's whole feeling of like, I want to be cool, I want to be, I want to kiss boys and I want to like go around and like Michael being like the musician in a way, like, all of that. So it was
Hmm.
just, yeah, it just came naturally to me. So yeah.
That so since Princess Diaries was one of the inspirations, were there any other books that
Mhm.
inspired this
Mhm.
book, or even just like your writing in general?
Hmm. You'd be surprised to know, but this is the first rom-com that I ever wrote in my life. Like, I was a genre fiction writer.
Yeah.
I had never written a rom-com before this.
Hmm.
So, like I said, it was like a revenge book for me. So
Hmm.
I was going in like blind, and I would not even read that many rom-coms. Nowadays, all I read are rom-coms. So it's been a huge shift.
Yeah.
But I read a lot to like get a sense of how rom-coms are.
Hmm.
So I think I read everything by Anne Liang. Like
Okay, yeah.
I love Anne Liang. Like
Me
she's
too.
one of my favorite authors. She's so good. And
Hmm.
just the way she writes, the way that her writing flows is just, it's marvelous. It's magic. So yeah, Anne Liang, one of my biggest inspirations. Meg Cabot, voice-wise, obviously, like
Yeah.
Krishna's whole chaotic, embarrassing voice is just, it's all like Meg Cabot.
Yeah.
Um, I'd also like, and I wish I could say Jasmine Cordio, but unfortunately, I read her books very recently. So, but I can see like art books sort of being on the same shelf, you know? I
Hmm.
love her. Like, I've fallen in love with her books, but yeah, I hadn't read her books then yet. And
Yeah.
then who else? Sujan Witherspoon. She
Okay.
happens to be a very close friend of mine.
Hmm.
And I read Bingsu for two, and that was one of the first like YA rom-coms that I read in a very long while. And
Hmm.
she, helped me with the chapter titles as well and with
Oh.
like bringing in the humorous voice in the book. So yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I need to read that. I can't remember if it was your story or her story, but I saw that there's like a mashup or some sort at the epilogue
Yeah, yeah,
or
the ep.
something, right? I did not realize that when I read it, but now I need to read the other book so I can
Oh,
it
you
can be
have
like a
to.
multiverse of of
Yeah,
books.
because
Yeah.
she's my best friend, and when we both were gonna have our first books be published, reg
Mhm.
rom-coms, you were like, can we, like do something a little like,
Yeah.
sneaky. And the thing is, initially we wanted to like canonically on page, we
Hmm.
wanted to have Krishna and the character from her book Sarang.
Hmm.
We wanted them both to be like roommates at Johns Hopkins,
Mm.
but that didn't work out because of copyright issues. So
Yeah.
we added each other into the book instead. And I
Mhm.
wrote like this bonus epilogue scene where I had like the characters eventually be roommates. So
Yeah, that's so fun. I'm excited to read that now and then catch the differences.
it's so good. Bingsu for Two
Yeah.
is one of the best YA books you'll ever read. It's brilliant. You'll love it. It's too good.
Nice. Okay, so I also when you mentioned that you this is the first romance you've written, and so you're mostly a genre fiction writer, and so
Yes.
so I'm guessing your favorite books, most of them are like in like mystery or you
Like
mentioned you've
fantasy,
written,
fantasy.
yeah, fantasy, mystery, and all of that. So what were
Yeah.
some of your favorite books like in recent times, but also like growing up besides like the, Enid
Mhm.
Blyton and Mallory Towers and
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
like such a universal, yeah.
Yeah. So I will say like Bingsu for Two, one of my
Mhm.
favorite YA rom-coms ever written. And then in fantasy, I will say Crooked Kingdom, which is the second book in Six of Crows, one of my favorite books ever written, like
Mhm.
ever.
Yeah.
And the Dragon Republic, which is the second book in the Poppy War series, that also.
Yeah.
Um, and I love Anne Liang's This Time It's Real, and I Hope This Doesn't Find You. Oh, those two books
Hmm.
are just so freaking good.
Hmm.
I really like Jasmine Gordio's TJ Powar is Something to Prove. It just
Yeah.
I read that in like two sittings. It was so freaking good.
I read that in a
Um,
day. It was
oh,
my life was
sh-
changed.
she's so good. It's insane. She's so good, and I
Mhm.
I love her so much. And I'm
Mhm.
so bummed I didn't read her books before, but I love her.
Yeah.
And then I really love Last Night at the Telegraph Club by
Mhm.
Melinda Lowe. It's like this
Mhm.
historical like lesbian romance. It's
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Mhm.
The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, like classic,
Yeah.
but one of my faves.
Mhm.
Uh, and I also love The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Bandana. Cozy
Mhm.
fantasy, which is just
Yeah.
so my jam.
Mhm.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
What else? What else? What else?
Mhm.
So yeah, I think this is what comes right off the top of my head. But I know there's a few more books that I'm gonna be so pissed that I won't remember
Uh-huh.
now. But I'm gonna be like, oh my God, I should
Just
have
text
mentioned
it to
them.
me. I'll like write it
Yeah, yeah, okay,
in the
perfect. That
video.
sounds
I'll
good.
put
Yeah,
it in the
yeah,
video.
yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
Nice. I think except like one or two which are literally on my TBR, every single book you mentioned are my favorite books.
Oh my God, they're
So
classics.
yeah,
They're classics. Yeah, yeah.
makes sense why your book is one of my favorites as well.
Oh my God, stop. I'm so happy. Oh,
No,
I'm so
I
happy.
seriously love this book. But okay. So since this has been out like for a month now, what is like some advice you would give to writers of like diverse backgrounds?
This is going to be a little sad,
Mhm.
but you know how they say it's tough for marginalized writers? It really, really is, because I see it all the time. Like you could have like more sales than like your white, contemporaries in the publishing industry, and publishers will still like advocate for them a lot more than they do you. You'll be underpaid, and you'll have like a million books rejected. You will also be sort of, you'll also be sort of, what's the word, like bracketed into a certain like category
Yeah.
of like, like putting out a certain type of book. So if you ever write something that's a little bit like hatke or like different in a way, it's very difficult to break into the market. And I love writing rom-coms. I'm like, I read rom-coms, like that's all I read these days. But I like I wish that I also were able to like get one of my genre fiction books published, because I'm a very like I write across age categories and genres, and I don't want to just be like a rom-com writer. I want to be published in different genres. It just seems impossible in a way for that to happen.
Yeah.
And people don't talk about this, but it's even tougher when you're approaching UK or US publishing from another country. Like it's 10 times as hard to break into this industry. And the only thing that takes you like ahead is stubbornness. And people think that that's like a bad or negative quality to have in a way, but I don't think so. Like you don't get anywhere in life being like a brown queer woman without being a little bit stubborn, and
Mhm.
like having that just like shameless sense of belief and faith in your art. Easily I've gotten like 500 rejections like through the course of my writing career. I
Mhm.
still get rejections all the time.
Mhm.
It's just the only thing that's taken me ahead is like I believe in myself. I know I have it in me, and I know that I can write just as well, if not better, than a lot of the writers in the
Mhm.
industry, and I have to just keep pushing myself. Like there's no other choice. So unfortunately, if you're like a BIPOC writer or a queer writer, you unfortunately have to be like, you have to be ready for
Yeah.
the obstacles you'll face. And
Yeah.
it's okay if you need to take a break and all of that. Like I've had those breaks, I've had those breakdowns, and I've like been on medications, all of that, and now that I've come out the other side, I just learned to like not expect too much, so my expectations aren't shattered in a way. So yeah,
Yeah.
a sad
Definitely.
answer, but yeah, it's just be
Yeah.
stubborn. That's all I'll say.
It's realistic though. It's realistic, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot. You have to advocate for yourself. You have to have the grit to just keep trying to break that wall.
Oh
So,
yeah. Oh my
yeah.
God. You have to hammer that wall down. It's like, and
Yeah.
it's still up for some reason.
Yeah.
It's wild. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Okay. On a little brighter side, um,
I'm so
um,
sorry.
no, you're totally fine. You're totally fine. But I wanna talk a little or like hear your thoughts on this book and like what would you say? Because obviously I very much related to this book, and I know a lot of my friends who are also Indian have really loved this book and the representation in this, and they felt, seen by it. And so, what would you say to readers, who felt represented by this book, who resonated with it?
It's just I don't know what to say. It's just this is the feeling that I was seeking when I was reading Enid Blyton's books. Like that's the feeling that 10-year-old me had, that I wanted to make people feel something. So
Mm-hmm.
to know that I've accomplished that, I think no accolade, no award, nothing can match up to this feeling of knowing that the audience you've written this book for, and even the audience you haven't like really written the book for, in a way like connecting to what you've like built in your head.
Yeah.
And they're just not voices in your head anymore, they're on paper and people are reading them. And it's the best feeling. Like, and this is the feeling that this is why I keep going. Like, even though this industry is hell bent on making me give up, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, no,
Yeah.
I have to keep feeling this feeling,
Yeah.
I have to keep chasing it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I'll say. Thank you for
Yeah.
feeling seen. Thank you actually for feeling seen.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. I'm so glad. Oh. Okay, this is the last question, but the one I'm most excited for. What's
Oh,
next? What's next? I know you just submitted something, some
Mm,
draft.
I
So,
did. I
any little teasing about
did.
it? Anything we can know about it?
So there isn't much I can say, unfortunately, but
Mm.
I will say it comes out in 2027, so it comes out next year.
Okay.
And it like is also a rom-com, and it is just, I'll be honest, it's like become my favorite thing that I've ever written. Like it's just be prepared for some good banter, and
Oh.
again a lot of kissing.
But like at the 80% mark, I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
that's 80%. That's 80%. So yeah, but then once you cross that 80% mark, you're gonna get a lot of it. Like that's what
Mhm.
I will give you.
Yeah.
Like I will be like, once I cross that, I'm gonna give you like a bunch, you know?
Okay. Okay.
That's all I can say. But
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I'm very, very excited. I did see like your stories with like the Pinterest kind of mood
Yeah,
boards for
Pinterest
them.
pictures.
I
Yeah,
am
yeah.
already very, very excited. So
So glad. I'm so
keeping
glad.
an eye out for that.
And you might see some cameos of like characters from Krishna Kumar.
Oh, okay, okay, wow. Okay, I am so excited. I'm glad I asked this at the end. I would have not, I would just be thinking about this then and nothing else.
I'm so
I
glad.
am
But
so
yeah.
excited. Well, okay,
Yeah.
this has been so, so nice. Thank you
Yeah,
so, so
same.
much. If you have anything you want to say to the audience or anything,
Mhm.
yeah, you can.
I mean, honestly, nothing except please pick up the book of my heart. It is 4 years in the making now, and it's everything that I would have wanted to read as a teen, and I hope it's everything you want to read at whichever point in your life you are. So, and well, Meg Cabot said you should read it, so I guess that counts for something.
It definitely does. Thank you so, so much, Anahita, for
Thank
such a lovely
you.
conversation, and for writing stories that highlight South Asian experiences, all experiences.
My honor.
If you haven't read Better Catch Up Krishna Kumar yet, I highly, highly recommend checking it out. And especially, get them from local independent bookstores, borrow them from the library, whichever
Yes.
way, there's so many avenues to get them. And make sure to follow Anahita's Instagram page for her next book and any other, to keep an eye out for any upcoming releases. I'll link them in the description below. Thank you
Perfect.
so
Thank you so
much.
much. Thank you for
Yay!
having me. This was amazing. I love
Of
it. Thank you.
course. Yes.